I'd like to start by thanking everyone, Ajmal, Andre, Angela, Anthony, Carlos, Greg, David, Dory, Gary, Azam, Henry, Ilya, Gerard, Jerome, John, Jordan, Joshua, Jura, Kevin, Christopher, MSN, Mark Robertson, Matvez, Milan, Oscar, Ralph, Russ, Ryan, Rick, Samuel, Sandro, Shakir, Sean, Steve, Samant, Sunday, Matthew, Todd, Eli, Yosef. So great to see you. We can start basically. So I thank you all for joining, and I'm sure others will join shortly. So the presentation today is going to focus on some of our latest features, but at the same time, we're also going to touch upon some of our basic functionality and how it's actually integrated one into the other. So this is what we're going to talk today. Again, we're going to remind for those that are newer to the system what exactly Nytro SEO does. We'll show you then how to use more advanced tools to identify high-ranking opportunities or opportunities for keywords and pages to promote or unpromote, depending on what you want to achieve. And then decide which keywords you want to add for promotion or remove for promotion based on different criteria to become much more effective in this process. Secondly, to understand, to connect and to understand the Google Search Console matrices, how they're helping us to optimize better. And we'll also show you how to connect, which is a very simple process. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A, so the floor will be open to any questions you may have. By the way, you are able to raise your hand at any time, and we can also address questions either during or after the call. Okay, so what is Nytro SEO? I'd like to somehow summarize it in a simple sentence. What's the distinction between Nytro SEO and many other SEO tools out there? The main thing is that we're not focusing on providing analytics and insights. This is not the core of what we're doing. We are focusing on turning that data into optimization. And basically, the core of Nytro SEO is an optimization engine that, by using a small snippet at the website header, can optimize the website code to be more SEO optimized. And basically, it can do different things. Meta tag is one of those things that can be optimized, and this is what the system does very effectively. So when we do add keywords to metadata, we first of all ensure that it's relevant to the content. So for example, some people asked us, I have a keyword, how do you determine which keyword, where to place it? So the system has its own ability to assess the relevancy of a specific keyword to one page or hundreds of pages and decide which page is the most relevant and whether it can be integrated into the tags and whether it would be useful or not useful. So that is all done automatically based on relevancy. So for example, we were not going to add a location for New York to a page that talks about Boston, for example. Secondly, we add real queries to the meta tags. These real queries are not keywords we invented. These are usually, this is what we provide. These are queries that people search for and we qualify. So these are real search queries that are entered into the meta tags. And secondly, we optimize the data in a way that also causes the search snippet view to be optimized, because we know all the things that are required by the search engine, and we deliver the search engine with that information so they can include it in the search snippet view. Secondly, we do SERP monitoring for search engines to see which positions you're at. And thirdly, we have adaptive algorithms. So for example, if you have a keyword that performs in a certain way or suddenly drops, we know to assess that situation and try to recover it. Of course, it's not guaranteed. There is a lot of volatility, especially with algorithm changes, but our algorithms are designed to handle this. Okay, why do you need meta tag optimization? I'm sure some people may ask. I don't think it's a question anymore, but just to answer this, most websites today have deficiencies in their meta tags. Some of them are huge, some of them are less, but it's definitely an issue. And when you have deficiencies in your meta tags, the search engines find it difficult to understand what the specific page is talking about, how to associate possible search queries to that page. And therefore, they may rank you or may not based on their own understanding of the content. And basically, this is a survey that was done for more than 1 million websites that shows some of these deficiencies in tags. But the most interesting parameter that kind of consolidates everything together is that almost 70% of the tags were not relevant, or there was a mismatch to the page content, which is huge. So that is something that our system knows how to deal with and optimize. And secondly, there's new changes in the market, and search engines, ChatGPT type search engines like Gemini, Perplexity, are starting to give much more attention to structured data to try to understand the page content. And this is the direction that we are also going in, to provide the search engine with more data that will help them, in this case, ChatGPTs, to understand the content and to rank the content. So this is something new that is now happening, but our system is definitely capable and is also addressing this. So we're going to talk today about Google Search Console. I assume most of you heard about this or know or experts in Google Search Console. And I don't know how many of you are actually using it extensively on a day-to-day basis, but it's a very powerful tool, but it's also not the easiest one to use. And it also does not provide enough flexibility to do the things you want, for example, to choose the keywords you want to monitor and so on. So there are a few matrices in Google Search Console that we are kind of using, whether it's the impressions, whether it's the interactions, which are the click-through, the association between keywords and pages. All of this data is data that Google Search Console provides, and we will show how we're using this data today in order to perform better, much better, actually. So we're going to start with top performing keywords, and this is just an example how we can search after synchronization with Google Search Console, and we'll show afterwards how we do the synchronization. It's a pretty simple process. We can see a much more enhanced version of the data, and I will just show to you now how we actually do that. So we go into our system, into the Keywords Manage, and we've recently introduced new functions that some of you may have seen, some of you haven't, which is the filters. It's a very powerful function which allows you to have a dedicated or a predefined view of the pages that you want to see. And basically what we do, we can choose, this is just trying to figure out which keywords have best SEO automation in them. And then you can see which one is performing, what impressions, what clicks, what volumes, which pages they're assigned to, and all of this data. So this is one. And basically you can go at any time to the edit button and change the filter that you're using. In this particular case, we asked just to show all the keywords that have this term in it. So we can kind of monitor this topic based on this one. And we can see some pages are on first page, some not. And we may want to boost these a little bit more. So this is a very nice way just to look at the keywords, the topic of the keywords, and decide whether you want to either leave it or enhance its content or topical authority. The other type of filter that we can do is we can show keywords with impressions or keywords with no impression. So let's look at keywords with impressions. And we can see that we have, we can just sort by them. And all of this data is pulled from Google Search Console and from other sources that we are also enhancing the data, like volumes, search volumes. And here you can see which keywords have the highest level of impressions, clicks. So it gives you a good indication to, whether these keywords are actually being seen in relation to your website, which is very important because just having a rank does not necessarily mean that you have impressions or you have clicks. So now you have one centralized GUI, very easy to use, very configurable, which you can decide what kind of keywords you want to see. And you can do the same for keywords without impressions, which basically could be candidates for removal. Okay, so in this particular case, you can see despite the fact that the score is green, meaning theoretically it can be promoted for the website, meaning there is enough content on this website to support it. There's actually 7 pages that the system believes that this keyword can be used in. But for different reasons, we're not ranking for this term. But we are optimizing for this term. So if I want to reduce the amount of promoted keywords, I can very easily just unpromote it like that. And it will save on my tier capacity. And I can search also by show me all the ones that have a non-existing or above 10 Google rank, show me the ones with impressions, with clicks, volumes, etc., etc. So this is a very useful technique in order to remove keywords that you either don't have a chance to rank for, because at the end of the day, you are kind of competing with the entire world or your region. And sometimes it's just impossible, and you need to choose which keywords are most effective for your content. So you can always write more content. You can always create more topical authority, but Nytro system looks at what you have at the moment and tries to maximize what you have at the moment and takes all the decisions based on your current pages. So based on your current pages, this keyword was not used, and probably it will find it difficult to use. However, this one, which you can see that it's kind of auto-generate metadata description, you can see that it's kind of moving. It's not first page, but it's definitely a keyword that you can invest in creating more content. And I think that we kind of showed in the past how to do it. The creation of content to enhance is done the following way. You mark the keywords that you want to promote, and we can choose, let's see if we have some more. Yeah, we can also choose this one, which we can improve, and this one. So we chose 3, and now we're going to generate content. And what we're doing now, of course, you don't have to do, but this is the technique that you identify keywords that are not performing or partially performing based on impressions or lack of impressions. And then you can decide to create content for this. What we actually do here, we are not a content generator. We just create the prompt for you. So in the background, we're generating the text of the prompt, which we will enable you to copy it once it's ready. We allow you to choose the main keyword that you want to optimize, like the primary keyword. These would support it and augment it. This is your audience, your persona in a way, who you're targeting to. And here is where you define whether you want an article, a blog. Here, at the moment, we have ChatGPT, which is a specialized prompt that we provide for free, but you can have your own prompt here, and in the future we'll add much more, a bigger variety of prompts for you to use. But basically, when you just press generate, it will take you to the ChatGPT, add the prompt into the ChatGPT, and all you need to do is just press it. This is a highly targeted generator, and you just need to press it, and it will generate the article, and then you can redo it if you need to. Okay, so we're not going to go into the details, but in the background, there is a very sophisticated algorithm that goes and checks top performing pages, and it goes to the website and checks what services you have. There's a lot of activity in the background, but this is just for your information. Now, at the moment I did that with keywords that have no impressions. In my opinion, it's very difficult, unless it's a very important keyword. Let's say the volume, you want to go for a very high volume, and you want to invest, like you want to invest in this term, even though there's no impressions. You might say, I want it anyway, and I want to start investing much more resources in content. Then I would say without impressions it's possible. But I do not think that you should try to rank for keywords that you have no visibility at all. So the other possibility, which is probably better, is keywords with impressions. Of course, you can always take it further to with clicks, but it's up to you. Yeah, so here the same way. So this is a list of 264 keywords with impressions. You can also look at the volumes, and exactly the same way you can decide, for example, if you want to target agencies. So here, these are suggested keywords that were found with impressions, and then you can create content for this particular term, plus those suggested ones which have been qualified for your website. So you have this flexibility to go either way. And you can also just say, I want to enhance performance of pages of keywords that are struggling to go to first page, for example. Yes, from here. So one of the things we statistically know that keywords that are on the second page, third page, fourth page are very likely to be able to increase their rank, even to first page, even without a lot of effort. So this is the sweet spot that we recommend to look for keywords that are in this range but have impressions. And basically what we will do, we can go here and say, I will create just a totally new filter, and I would go to the filter and I would say, show me keywords with impressions. Where their SERP rank is like this, actually like this. So it's like the mid-range. So yeah, so here you see, I don't have first page and I don't have the out of range pages. So you have about 100 here that you can give yourself the task to create content for. And the chances that for these ones, you would be able to create more content. And basically we're using the Google Search Console data to be able to analyze this and to recommend this. And of course, volume is always important, but another parameter to remember that if you have a good long tail keyword, even if it's got a lower volume, it is still valuable. Actually, some surveys done by Neil Patel's agency shows that the highest converting long tail keywords is between 5 to 7. So don't be ashamed to use longer tail keywords. It's definitely recommended, and I would definitely go that route. So this is the technique to do it with the keywords. I think we covered most of the possibilities, and if you have any more questions later on, we can definitely cover them. So just like we're pulling data for the keywords, we're also pulling data for the pages. And you see this little icon here. This little icon here is the same in the keywords grid, by the way. Allows you to choose which columns you want to see. It also allows you to see when was the document or the page updated, so you can focus on earlier versions or later versions, what's been newer or later, click-through rates. So, of course, it's not always convenient to see all of them, but you need to choose the matrix that you want to look at. And we are pulling this published, modified SERP. We are doing this, and the other data comes from Google Search Console. And basically, we can look at all the content, all the pages that were recent. These are the pages that were updated recently. We can see whether these pages have been indexed by Google. We actually read the indexing data from Google, and we cross-reference it with our indexing data. And if Google has an index of this page in Google Search Console, then we provide this G+ icon. If Google does not have this page indexed in Google Search Console, but we identified this, so it might be available on other search engines like Bing, Yahoo, it happens. So we have another type of icon. It's an eye for indexing. So you have this ability to also look at other search engines which are becoming more popular these days, especially with the ChatGPT. We're going to talk about that a little bit in length. Okay. So we're talking about the pages. So we can see which pages have got the highest level of impressions, the highest level of exposure, and when was the last date of update, what was the SERP, how many keywords were SERPing for this page. We can always dive in and see more data, like what tags we had, which keywords we had in the tags, what were the ranks for each particular keyword for this particular page. So it's very interesting data and very useful data. And by the way, it's all done automatically. You don't need to do anything. But if you want to go and see, it shows you all the data based on which it's done. And it also shows you how those keywords are performing for this particular page. Yes. And so I think that, yeah. Okay. So the other thing that we can do here is we can look at pages with impressions and pages without pages with impressions. Yes, we can also ask to see all the pages that are indexed with impressions, because not all pages are indexed. So we have a little bit less here. So all these pages are indexed, and at the same time, we can ask to see all the pages that are not indexed. So I will go here and say Google non-indexed. And this is very important because you often generate content, or it might be different for different reasons, but you have pages which might be totally legitimate pages, but Google decided not to index them. And we can actually go and look at pages, and Google has a list of pages that he might say that they're crawled and currently not indexed for different reasons. And sometimes you try to figure out this one. Okay, this is a legitimate one. We don't need a feed, of course. Feed, no need. Articles. Yeah, so a lot of these pages are legitimately not. But this one is one that is a legitimate page. Yeah, legitimate page. And we can inspect it. Yeah, and you can see that Google decided not to index it. We can always ask Google to index it, but I would recommend not doing it too much and not doing it without understanding what you're doing, because there's a lot of indexing tools that just send everything back to Google for indexing, but it's not a technical task. You need to understand which ones you want to index and why, because there may be other reasons why Google may not be willing to index a page. Okay, so it just sent it for index, and sometimes it accepts it, sometimes not. Okay, so this was just a good way for you to see this, but I think it's just to decide whether you want to clean pages. Definitely those that are not indexed, it's legitimate to optimize them because you want the system to improve the ranking. So I would not necessarily remove the optimization here. I would try to improve maybe the content or to try to monitor other factors because they do have impressions, but Google still did not decide to index them for some reason. So all I need to do is go and reset the filter. By the way, we will add some of these filters as default filters to the menu here, so you will be able to access it and either keep it or change it. But you can also just go in, create a filter, and just save it. I'll show you how we can save a filter in a minute. Okay, so now we can also look at another parameter, which is I want to see all pages that talk about SEO automation. So, and I can see which ones are better performing. Yeah, so this is very useful because you see here, this is the SEO automation. In this particular case, it's just in the URL. But we can see all the pages that relate to SEO automation, what's their score, whether they're indexed or not. And we can similarly see all of those that are not indexed. Now, this is very typical. A lot of people, companies create a lot of content, and Google not necessarily agrees with this content creation and with this indexing. In this particular case, it's just one, but we've seen situations where it was thousands, hundreds of pages that were legitimately created, but Google decided they're either duplicates or they're too similar to other pages or they're canonicalized. So this is a very good technique for you to monitor a specific subject and to know whether those pages that you created content for are indexed or not indexed. And then you can take corrective measures, then you can go and try to improve it. In the future, we will have more and more capability to interact maybe with Google Search Console, whether it's to ask for indexing or other parameters. This is something that is in the roadmap. Similarly, we can say, yes, not indexed, we say pages with impressions, pages without impressions, and indexed. So this is the process, this is the technique that we're using. Problematic pages. This is important. So problematic pages is pages that have issues. And basically, if you go to the filter, you can basically mark them at any time, which are canonicalized pages, meaning that they are redirecting to another page with the same content, redirect pages, error issue pages, pages that are marked for non-indexed for some reason, or Google decided that they're not indexable or they're broken. And here you can see this list, and you can decide whether, if you want, you can decide if you want to keep them because they have impressions or non-index them. If you want to non-index a page, it's very simple. You just press this one, no index, and it will add a tag for no index to these pages. SEO automation optimized plus impressions. Yes. Yes. So in this particular case, we can see the performance of all the pages that are optimized with impressions, and that there are good pages that would definitely have a chance to rank. And you can see that some of them rank more, some of them less, but they're on the right track. Another thing you can do, you can ask to see the modification date, like how new this content is. And based on how new this content is, you can immediately track and see whether content you added recently, like this one, received a lot of good impressions very quickly. So it tells you that this topic that you have here could be a topic that you can expand and enhance your topical authority by creating more relevant content around this. You can see keywords starting to rank. I would definitely invest in this topic to enhance its capabilities by optimizing more keywords, creating content for more keywords, etc. Okay. Yes, so that was, let's go back to the presentation 1 minute. I think we kind of covered most of these issues. Yes. Yeah, we talked about filtering pages for non-indexed. By the way, we researched this issue of what is better to do to robot.txt a file or to non-index. And Google's best practices suggest that unless it's like really difficult pages or error pages, then no index is probably a better technique than adding them to the robot.txt. And you can see the link to this explanation here on the Google Search Console data. So you can always try to figure out, what technique to use in order to index or non-index. We give you this flexibility. You can decide to remove the page, to unpromote it, or to non-index it based on the filter. So feel free to create filters according to what you want to achieve. We will add more and more information, videos on how to do things. We've created and added a lot of videos recently on tutorials, and we will continue to do that to show you how to use these functions. And let's see. Yes. Okay. So the next topic that we can discuss now is how do we actually add how do we connect to Google Search Console. So we go to the main menu, and in the main menu we go to settings, and in the settings we go to this tab, and there is APIs and integration, connect to Google Search Console. When the Search Console is connected, it shows a green icon. If you want to revoke it, you go, you revoke it and then reconnect. And if you want information on how to do this, you just go to this question mark here, knowledge base. You just search for Google Search Console integration. So you always have the information on how to do this. It comprises also from a detailed textual information and also a video. And basically when you go here and you just press this button, the authentication pop-up of Google pops up. You basically sign into your Google account, and you authorize the sync, basically. So it's a very simple one process stage. The only thing that you might need to take account of is if the icon is gray and not green. Where is it? Here. Then it indicates that there is a problem. The problem can be one that the property of this website is not associated with your Google Search Console, because you can have you need to authenticate to the Google Search Console to add your property, your website, to this Google Search Console account. So this particular tutorial also explains how to do it. And there's also a lot of information out there on how to authenticate your website to Google Search Console. This is not something unique to us, and you can definitely do that. If you log in to our video library, so this is the one, and here you have many more tutorials which you can use, whether it's for optimizing your plan, whether it's deciding which search engines you want to monitor, and so on. So this is how you connect. I'd like to kind of conclude with something interesting that we are seeing that might be useful for you also. By the way, I shared the survey with you, so feel free to add your comments there. One of the things that we see is that results of ChatGPT, of search, Ask, Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini, is mostly not using Google for the search results. And we see a trend that they're using more and more the Bing engine. And of course, we have built-in capability to monitor Bing. So if you would like to redirect one of those search engines, I would recommend going to Bing because it's a much better representation. ChatGPT for sure is using this, and I think some of the Perplexity and some others are also using Bing. They have some agreements, probably because of competition. They don't go to Google, but I would definitely recommend starting to monitor Bing, and and more you would see kind of a need to understand your performance on on these ask search types, ChatGPT, etc. When you ask a question, although Google kind of integrates the answers at the top, I think that moving forward, there's probably going to be a shift. So it's not going to be like 80-90% Google, it's maybe going to be 50%. So definitely you need to prepare to move this direction. And secondly, you would need to create content that has the right characteristics to be able to rank on these ChatGPT better. So if we go to ChatGPT and maybe ask, what is the best pizza in USA? Kind of a location-based reply. In this particular case, I don't see a lot of answer. Sources. Yeah, so here are the sources. And you also want to appear here. You want your content to appear here. And what we see is that there is a growing demand or a growing need to add meta tags that are clear, to add schema markup, structured data. More and more, these are relying on this data, and they prefer that the web pages have this. The reason being that they don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to hallucinate. And when you have structured data, the chances of getting the answers right is much greater. So this is definitely something that I would recommend taking attention to, and both in terms of monitoring and both in terms of creating content that relates to it. So yeah, so I think that we can definitely go to the Q&A session. Yes, okay, so let me open the floor. Whoever wants to chat, just raise your hand and I'll enable it. Okay, yeah, good question. So there's a question here. Do I need to choose the keywords, or does Nytro help me with choosing the keywords? So basically, whenever you add a website, initially you are suggested to add your keywords manually. You can add or not add, or just intuitively, this is not a problem. But what we would do in the background, we would query Google Keyword Planner and some other platforms. And we would say, for example, give me all the keywords that you identified as relevant to this website, and we'll add them here as suggested. Of course, we also collect the impressions, the volumes, and then you can decide just by clicking. This one, for example, this is a very high volume keyword. I can just add it like this to the list. So this is something that is not, it's proposed to you, but you still need to control it, because sometimes there is errors in these keywords. So we do not recommend just uploading everything. We recommend that you take a look, ensure that you see this, there's missing space here. SEOs. These are things that I would not use as is, and I would definitely read them before I enable it. So that answers this question. And generally, we regularly search for these, and we all the time suggest additional ones for you. And all you need to do is just go to the suggested, and you will see which ones you have. You can sort by impressions and say, show me all the ones with high impressions, or the ones with clicks. And I want to add them to the system. You can also bulk add like this, and just press this promote, or you can search by topic. For example, search engine optimization. Let's see. Yeah, so you can search by topic and say, I want all keywords that have impressions, that has this term in them, and then you just promote or monitor or both. It's very easy to do. And then once you've done that, just remember to refresh. The reason it's showing here is because I added 5 keywords before. So it's telling me, look, you have 5 keywords in the system that you need to refresh for. but it will also do that if I mark them here. So it's very easy to do. There is a very simple test. Ask yourself, if someone searches for this term, would you like them to reach your website? If the answer is yes, and you have a green score, then you just enable it. Really, it's that simple. Okay, let's see what else we have. Those questions. Oh, I see here someone is asking. Sunny, hello, how are you? Yes. Okay. I enabled your microphone, so feel free to ask. Okay, let's let Sunny work on his microphone, and we can continue with the questions until then. Okay, how can I choose the relevant keywords that I need to promote? What is the best way to find them so I can? Yeah, I think we kind of discussed this, but so the question is, how do I choose the most relevant and best keywords to promote? So there's two displays for this. One is suggested, and the other ones are your actual keywords. And when a system works for some time, then it's using a pool of keywords that some of them are being optimized, some not. So, for example, I would like to ask for keywords that are being promoted but no impressions. So these are keywords that, although I have some ranks, they're not being seen. So I can consider these ones maybe to unpromote them, not necessarily, but certainly not the ones with the high volumes, but the ones with that are not performing. Similarly, I can ask to see the ones that are promoted. So let's continue, and maybe you can write your question in the chat. Dima, write to Sunny and ask him to write the question in the chat, and we will answer. So in the meantime, we can also go to promoted keywords with impressions, meaning these keywords are actually performing. And we can see that these are good keywords, especially if we are sorting by impressions or by rank. And we can definitely take a decision that these keywords are effective.
Okay.
And the question that we had from, I see, yes, I think it was Hazam. Yes, Hazam. So this is the technique that we would recommend for you to use. And you can definitely go and try to promote those that have good number of impressions, clicks, the ones that are ranking first page to 8th page, let's say, and try to get them to be used more and more. I hope I answered your question. If not, then just write again in the chat and we will answer that. Just transferred my website to Go High Level platform. How will this impact my ability to use Nytro? Okay, so Haywood asked whether moving to Go High Level, what the impact. So it's basically depending on whether you changed your website structure or not. But if, let's say, you just moved it and the same pages are there, all you need to do is just reinstall the snippet on your new hosting provider, let the system run, and it will re-optimize again for those pages automatically. You don't need to do anything because it kind of reassesses everything again. If the page exists, it will treat them the one way. If the page doesn't exist, it will just not optimize it. So it's all done automatically, and I don't see an issue. We had quite a few people moving to between hosting and also to Go High Level, so it should work fine.
I think I can hear you now. I don't know if you can hear me.
You can? You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Sunny, go ahead. Yes. Okay.
All right, that's good. I think you actually answered some of the questions I wanted to ask. That's in the sections of the keywords, suggested keyword, and the keywords. And so what if we we have some there's a keyword that's already been promoted, we can stop that, right? Being promoted is not performing very well.
Say again?
Like, for example, now that I have some keyword that actually been promoted, and if they're not performing very well, we can stop it. Then we promote the one that is.
Only if you have a capacity limitation, because remember, this is like a process. So like it takes time for the system to rank. So it's not something that is done automatically, but let's say we're going to take a look, and let's look at the first, something like this. So you will see that there is volatility, and this is very common. This is like we got hit by some algorithm change, and you can see that there is a recovery for these 15 keywords. So I would not necessarily, if you see a drop or if it's not performing, I would not necessarily leave it. I would not necessarily remove it. I will assess whether it's got a chance to stay or not. And this is very common. This volatility is very common. So I would definitely look if there are impressions, Sunny. If there are impressions, there's clicks, there's volumes, there's ranking, especially for a specific topic, I will definitely continue promoting it. Yes, having said that, if you see here 0, you see the 0 meaning that this keyword is actually not being used on any page.
Okay.
So you can just monitor it and unpromote it if you want to save on capacity.
Okay. And one last question, because I just because when I got this notification about this specific webinar, and when I had to actually enable the Google Console stuff to be able to get connected. So does it have to take some time before we get also those data, or because I've done it's gonna be 2 days now that I've actually connected to my Google Console?
I think that it should connect, it should sync, but sometimes it takes a little bit time. Dima, maybe you have some comments on the syncing process. How many pages you have, Sunny?
I have like 6 to 7 pages for this specific website.
Okay. Quickly, how quickly will the Google Search Console data like impressions, click, sync after you connect it? How quickly will it sync and be displayed here?
Yeah, up to 10 seconds. So once you connect it and you open a table, data is loaded at the moment you open the table, and it takes like no more than 10 seconds.
Okay, but let's be realistic. Sometimes it takes longer. So for various reasons, maybe it's not. Maybe when in optimal conditions, it's immediate, but sometimes there may be some other issues. But it shouldn't take days, by the way, Sunny. So if you have an issue, contact our support, and we'll try to figure out where the issue is.
Okay, because I'm not seeing any data here. Because
but you have to enable it here. You see?
Oh, okay. Impression. I think yeah. So I mean, I enable everything. I did searching the pages, score, volume, clicks, and impression, and CTR.
Okay.
They're all enabled, but I don't see any data here.
So it might be that your connection to the Google Search Console was not authenticated. And if you go to this document that I showed you where to go, it explains to you what to do in case that it's not syncing. It might be that your website is not listed in your Google account.
It is because I went through, I got everything, and I got everything.
And did you see the green? Did you see the green?
Yeah, I saw the green. It's right. I mean, when you come to the website side of it and you see these little like after the skull, this way you have those. I have them in here.
Okay, so contact our support.
Yes, Google Search Console connector with your website active. So
yeah, try to contact support, and we will try to figure out what the issue is.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sunny. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Okay, so I haven't. Okay, Dima, you answered. Dima, you want to talk about this? I see you answered this about the LLM.
LLMs. Yes, that we are planning to do updates. Okay. So we will add engines, LLM engines.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, this is what we discussed before, the ability to monitor performance on LLM or search, ask type search, and not on normal search engine results. I do not see the data for clicks.
I can answer Sunny. I see on pages manage impressions and clicks for the website. and keywords, they just don't have impressions. Only one keyword has impressions. So he need to sort by from top to...
Okay. So the answer, Sunny, is the following. Dima said that you simply don't have enough impressions for these keywords, so it shows 0. It shows nothing, basically. Especially for smaller websites, sometimes you don't have enough traffic. But on pages, Dima says that you do have a few impressions.
Yeah, I do, because I do a lot of Google ads, and
Yes.
I actually have almost like right now from maybe for the past 2 weeks now, I have like over, if I go to my data, I have over 2,000 impressions and almost 63 or 183 clicks on that specific website. That's Snap Fiesta photo booth. So, because I do ads on that.
Okay, so I have a question here. I'm very new to all of this. Is what you're saying that I should delete all the keywords on my blog that are not ranking? I have 246 keywords with 4 in the top. No, absolutely not. It's not what I'm saying, and certainly not the blogs. So you have, okay, let's tackle this. It's an interesting topic. How do you kind of manage and update existing content, whether it's performing or not performing? So let's choose a topic, because I think a topic is a very good explanation, and I actually started to discuss this a minute ago. So we created some localized pages which are to a certain extent a little bit similar, you see here. And you can see that some of these pages were indexed by Google and some of them were not. Probably because of some similarity. Now, they're not exactly the same. The content inside the pages is also not the same. But I would say that they are not totally different. So Google took a decision here to rank some pages or to index some pages and not some pages. So what I would say is, in this particular case, if this page was in November, I would not rush to do something aggressive like removing it. I would still give the system some time. But if this was something from 2 years ago or a year ago, I would consider removing this page, non-indexing this page, or redirecting it to another page that is probably similar. So this is the question about this. And the fact that you have content that is not necessarily performing on top pages is something that is gradual, because here you created content, at least we do. So I'm sure everyone does. You create a lot of content and you expect this content to rank. This is what we're trying to achieve. So I would definitely not do something aggressive. I would look at each one of those pieces of content. Sorry, let's do it again. Yeah. So this is like the latest pages that have been updated. And you can see that they are performing relatively nicely. So recent content, I would definitely not touch too much. I would let it work. I would let the search engine deal with this and try to improve its ranking. So this is some kind of a tag that was generated sort of automatically by locations that we have, which I don't necessarily think we should promote this page. CMSs often generate some junk. See? So there's like a tag for a category of this country. But it's not a critical page because there's no impressions. It is indexed, but no one visits this page. So this one is definitely a candidate for non-indexed, for example. So I hope I answered the question. You need to deal with those pages that are either not performing, but again, you don't delete the pages necessarily. You can enhance content. For example, this page, search optimization, it's a good topic. You have only 2 impressions. So I would go, and it was in June So definitely within a range that you can update the content. And I will just go to this page. Oh, so it's also a category. Yeah, so it's exactly the same thing like the other. It's a category page. So I would not invest in it too much. Let's choose another one. Yeah, this one, for example. So this one has even two clicks. Yeah, so this is a legitimate article. It's ranking a little bit, and you can definitely enhance the content, update the content, ensure that the keywords you're optimizing for here are relevant. And I would definitely think that it will create a positive impact. So that, I think, is the technique that you should be using, and not delete keywords in general, but kind of look at those pages. The pages that has an old update date and no impressions are definitely candidates for, let's do that. Let's say index pages, pages with no impressions. Yes, and then all the dates. See, all of these ones from 2022, definitely pages that I don't see any real value in them. So these are pages that, as I said before, you can either non-index or remove or update the page content. So this is what's good about this integration, that it gives you really very good insights to decide how you want to update this content. Let's see if we have any other questions. By the way, if I'm not answering fully, just write and I will clarify whatever needs to be clarified. Okay, so we have a question. If we use Nytro SEO, do we still need to use SEO Rank Math, Squarely, etc.? The answer is very simple. So these are Squarely and Rank Math. They're all-in-one SEO tools, which have a wide variety of functionalities, such as creating sitemaps, such as adding schema, such as maybe giving you content score quality, things of that nature, which you may find useful, or you may be using, or it's needed to use them, or the sitemap. So that functionality we're not replacing. But in parallel, we are focusing on doing the best for the optimization of the meta tags and the links, whatever we're going to do, which they are not doing or are not capable to do, because they don't have a concept of a keyword that is managed, that is optimized like we do. So you can add a focus keyword, but it's not really managed like a dynamic keyword. This is why it's only for scoring for a single page. So the answer is most of our clients also have Yoast and Rank Math in parallel, but they're not really using that functionality for the meta tags optimization, metadata. And secondly, we override whatever they produce. Let me show you what I mean. So if you look at the meta tags that we're generating, there's a selector here that shows original and optimized. So this is basically what we generate, and this is how we create a better performing pages and search snippets. And if you want to see the Rank Math or Squarely optimized data, you just need to ask to see the original, because they are sitting on the CMS, they're producing the data out of the CMS, and we treat whatever they're producing as original. And we read this, we analyze this, we consider it, and if it's useful, we use it. If it's not useful, we don't use it. So from your point of view, you don't need to worry about that. They can create good tags or bad tags. It's not a problem. We will know how to deal with this. I hope I answered this question. Let me see. By the way, this is a very interesting view of how we take a keyword and we make it more prominent in the search results. By the way, we can also add, let's see, this one, structured data, for example. So we took the term structured data and entered it into the search snippet view. And having it in the search snippet view converts better. And we can also see the results here. So whenever someone searched for search intent, this is what was displayed in the search snippet view. So you can see that a lot of these searches actually displayed very nice tags, and it converted very nicely. And this is the description. You should know that Google displays different search snippet views, different titles and description for different search queries. And we monitor everything. We know exactly what search snippet view was displayed for each one of those queries. And our algorithms all the time learn from it and fix and see what Google takes and what it doesn't take. And then we change until they pick up on what is useful. Oh, okay, so there was a question about whether you need to be admin for Google Search Console, and the answer from Dima is that you just need to be a manager. Do we have full white label reporting? Not yet, but we are definitely working on that. So it's in the roadmap, by the way. If you go to our website, you can see that we updated it recently. So here you can see all the developments that were actually executed in 2025, which developments are in plan and which were done in 2024. And this is a live list. All the time we're adding, changing, enhancing based on many parameters, your feedback. So the poll will be also very interesting. I hope everyone kind of answer the poll so that we'll have a better understanding of your needs. You offer services that would check our settings. Yes, we do have a service for checking your settings. Basically, first of all, we have very attentive support. At any time you can contact and ask for assistance. But if you want it to be on a regular basis, we have a service that is called premium support. And managed account service means that we will regularly monitor your account. We would regularly check the performance, assign keywords, remove keywords, see how the website is performing in general, communicate with you at least once a month to update you. And this could also include, of course, the settings. But if it's just a one-off setting configuration, you can just book a call or send a support ticket, and we'll be happy to know if Nytro would work well with this directory. Yeah, I think we got a lot of questions in the past year. As far as I know, it's working okay. Dima, do you have any comments about that? I think everything works fine with Brilliant Directories. So
yeah, we have dedicated article how to install a script.
Yes.
Snippet.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
It works.
So if you go to installing on Brilliant Directory, so we have this. It's working, and if there were any issues, we would have known about it. Okay. Yes, we are going to send this webinar, of course. The survey asked if the software can help in any way with internal linking. Okay, if I understand correctly the question, the survey asked if the software can help in any way with internal linking of the site. I know that this possibility exists if your software in your software. No, it's not existing in the software at the moment. What we are doing is what's called anchor text optimization. Let me show you what it's doing. So if you hover on top of a link, you see this mouse over. This is an anchor text for links. So this we generate automatically, and certainly a ranking influencer because these links are basically linked to the target page. Yes, so this is the title of the page it's pointing to. So it helps Google understand what topics those pages are related to. Internal linking is something else. It's looking in the entire website. on-page search engine optimization. For example, this term. It's looking for this term in the entire website and then creates a link from this keyword, a hyperlink, to whichever page we believe it will create positive ranking momentum. It's pretty complicated, but because we already have this data here, we already know which keywords are ranking. We know which pages they have the highest or lowest power. So we know how to link it correctly in order to create this positive momentum. And there's a few strategies around this. It's actually in development. You can choose a technique that is more silo, meaning it's kind of looks at the blog section and links only within the blog section, or looks at all the product pages and links between the product pages, or looks at the entire website and links across the different pages. So there's different techniques and different strategies, and this is part of the product, and this is why it's taking time to do it correctly. Whether you are familiar with SEO Generator. Yes, I am familiar with SEO Generator, which creates substantial volume of diverse pages. Our initial test and Google Search Console indexing of approximately 200 went smoothly. What recommendation do you have? Okay, so SEO Generator is a tool that enables you to create localized pages, usually localized pages. It's actually very similar to what I showed you here before a minute ago. Of course, we didn't use this tool, but let me show you what I mean. So we optimize for Google search optimization. We optimize several pages, 45 pages. Okay, and Google decided to index some of them and not some of them. So I would say that it's most likely will not index all the SEO generator pages, most likely not. This is our estimation. It doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that it's probably some of these pages would still be considered by Google as similar. Unless you invest a lot of time, knowledge, and configure it. And I think also the ability to add content to the page that is totally different is limited. At least something like a year ago, we kind of looked at that, and this is the conclusion we had. But they might be have developed their tools. From our point of view, it's transparent. And it should work. But by the way, I think they're not creating pages on your CMS. They are creating them in some sitemap somewhere. And it's you don't own these pages, and the data is not really part of your CMS data. So you should be aware of it. Yeah. So if someone is asking, Karin. Yes, of course, Karin, if I pronounced it correctly. Yeah, so absolutely. You can go to any tag and you can, first of all, edit it just manually the way you want. You can also use different elements from the page. For example, I can take a look at the page and say, I want to use one element and not the other. For example, I want to use this one in the description. Yeah, so this is an H3 and this is an H1. So I can decide that at the moment you see the system chose H2 and not H3. But we can change this. We can just decide that we want to use H2 instead of H3. Or we can also go to the page and say, I want to choose this particular element and use it also. We have something called XPath. So all you need to do is just add the component you want to add, or you can also add what's called user search intent. So if you look at the keyword SEO software, you can also add the possible user search intent. When someone searches for SEO software, what do they really want? So you can add this as a term in addition to the keyword also. Yeah, I hope that answers Karin's question. It's taking a little bit longer than what we planned, but it's probably going to be between Q1 to Q2. And it's really going to be a very, very powerful product. We really give it a lot of attention, and we will definitely announce it and let you know, and maybe participate in the beta. Whoever wants definitely will be able to do that. Over-optimizing lately SEO features I follow have been about Google spam scores. Okay, so there's definitely an issue with over-optimizing, but at the end of the day, you need to remember that if you write normal content, if you don't use techniques that are kind of automatically creating similar content, and if you're not using the same keywords for that content that you are creating, the chance that you will labeled as spammy is not very high. At most, what's going to happen is that they will not index this particular page. Okay, but you can see that from the example that I sent before, a lot of these pages were very similar, and most of them have been indexed. 45, only 1 or 2 have not been. So I would say, and you see they're fairly similar in their structure, although they're not exactly the same. There's a lot of variety, but still. So I would say that that you should just need to make sure that your content is well performing. And secondly, if we take this term and we go to the page manage section, you can also identify and take corrective measures. So here you can see, based on the same search that I just showed before, you can see which pages are performing, and you can see that this content is performing nicely. I mean, it's got clicks, it's got impressions, it's from last year. Maybe, let's see if it's, yeah, because it was added last year. So I would definitely not try to put non-useful junky content. At the end of the day, if you do that and you do it too much, or if you just generate an article in ChatGPT and not read the results, then the chances are that Google will not like it. So I would definitely recommend just paying attention to the content and ensuring you're adding quality content. Yeah, so same questions about rank math, no conflicts at all. Yes, so someone is asking, I only have 1 keywords. Do I need more? So first question is how many pages you have. If you have 1 page, then probably not. But if you have 5 pages, maybe still probably not. But if you have hundreds, you most likely, it's recommended to add more. But I'd like to highlight that Nytro knows how to optimize pages even without keywords. So if I go and just ask to see how many keywords or which keywords are actually being used, so you can see the amount of keywords that are being used on these pages. But if there are no keywords in the system, and we do have customers that do not add, even if they have thousands of pages, because we can take the components from the page, like the H1, the H2, and other components. A lot of e-commerce websites, we can take from the shopping cart, the description, the vendor, and other directly from that page, and we can then create a very optimized view, even without keywords. But keywords add more converting search snippet views. Okay, there's a question. It's a good question. Since Nytro is optimizing, changing info on the web page, which is only the meta tags, by the way, not the content, do I need to resubmit each of those pages in Google Search Console? So Google will be aware of it. So you don't need to do that. Just like you don't need to do it when you add content, because Google crawls your website regularly. Now, some websites are crawled every hour, every half an hour, and some websites are crawled every month. So our recommendation is just to let Google crawl the website when it crawls the website. And you can always go and submit a sitemap. You can always go and resubmit a sitemap here and ask Google to come and crawl your website. It's very easy to do. But you don't need to, definitely not need to do it on a regular basis. Google will crawl your website and see all the changes and take account of them. Yes, someone asked about the image alts. The image alts, basically what we're doing, so image alts, we take every image that is on the page, for example, this one, and we add the keywords to the existing image alt. So we're not deleting the existing image alt, but we're adding. So some people asked us, for example, do you do interpretation of the image? It's possible to do, and if you use some kind of a plugin that does image interpretation, it's fine. We will add our keywords to whatever alt text there is there, and let's just take a look. So this is, this is to the logo what we added. Yeah, so you see the most common technical issues, SEO automation. We added this keyword at the end. Now it's very important, because if you don't have some meaningful keywords in the image alts, Google will never know how to associate it with your rankings. So we're doing that. We don't have a GUI for that as yet, but we will have at some point in the metadata. We will have some ability to see what the image alt data looks like, but at the moment we're not showing it. But this is exactly what we're doing in the background. There's really no management needed. There's no management needed. If there's no keywords for the page, then it will not add anything. If there are, it will add those keywords. Okay, let's see what else we have. Yes, this is an amazing question. Will you have the AI content generator prompt for ChatGPT also contain instructions for adding FAQ content section, or maybe you can dynamic features due to the rise of Ask search engines? Absolutely, yes. Our content generator, which I mentioned before, is definitely going to be enhanced with more functionality, whether it's whatever is required to rank both for web and both for Ask ChatGPTs. So we will enable the creation of content that is targeted for both, whether it's structured data, whether it's web pages, whether it's Ask. So the answer is yes. So someone is asking, Henry, could you create an optimization wizard that guide me as a user through optimization steps? Maybe give me certain questions, filter. Yeah, it's a very good idea. We're actually in the process, Henry, of adding better dashboards. So all of the things here that I showed kind of just navigating, we're going to add as dashboards, and we're going to enable you to see pages that requires attention, or keywords that are performing or not performing, or pages that requires amendment to the tag. So we are working on just making it easy for you to understand the results. But anything that we can do to improve usability, this is definitely something that we are looking at all the time. And any recommendations, suggestions is highly valuable. Okay, I think if I haven't missed anything, if I've missed something, just let me know. I see. Okay, someone is calling me. So Henry, I allowed for you to talk, and afterwards, John. Henry, you're on?
That you hear me now, Lee?
It's Henry?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Of course, Henry. Go ahead.
I just was a guy who asked you for the SEO generator. What you actually answered was correctly. I would like just to know, is it worth the effort to spend time to build, I don't know, 100 pages for a special particular keyword, and then increase our page volume as it is separate. You explained that correctly. I'm just wondering, is it worth to do that effort into that tool, or is it not worth it?
My personal view is that it's not a good technique. It can create spam issues. Even if you're very good at using it, it still is, in most cases, will create some spam or duplication issues, at least from Google's perspective. Google will see this data and not necessarily like it. So I would suggest using other techniques that create maybe content that is with a larger variety.
Right.
And by the way, one of the things that we are looking at now is partnering with content creation applications. And if anyone here has some ideas about content apps that they think they're really, really good and they would like to see it integrated, for example, we can, from our app here, say export this into another tool and create a prompt for that tool. We are more than happy to do that. It's very simple for us, and it's a good service for you, and it's kind of allows you to do it very very easily. So
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Of course. Okay, so I think Sunny answered. Henry, John, I think is not here anymore.
I'm here.
Okay. So okay, go ahead.
All right. Okay. I just I think 2 days ago, I just, because on my one of my site, which is not Fiesta Booth, I actually have a 2 version of it, a Spanish version and English version. But I came to realize that something was actually kind of wrong in terms of connecting some of these tools to get connected. And then what I decided to do was to remove the Spanish version of it, which was translated by Google Translate. And I think I had that issue too when I was trying to connect with the snippets too, because it was trying to fire the one that are 2 different at the same time. So what I did was to remove the Spanish version of it, the translate version of it. So after doing that, do I have to do a refresh for your?
Yeah.
For now, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just one thing I'm not sure that I remember your exact configuration, but if I understand you correctly, let's just see if I understand. So you have www.domain.english.ca, etc., right? Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, it's now. Yeah, domain. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Like, domains.
Yeah. So each. Yeah. So for each language or for each, you have this extension, right?
Yeah, I do have. I do have extension. Yeah. EN.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what we see is if you treat it like this way, so every time you add a set of domains under the English and you add this as a separate website to our system, then it's fine. It will do it perfectly. And you can also customize the tags to the specific language, whether it's Spanish or not. But if you have some plugin that uses the English and they dynamically generates or translates for the user to the local language that you're viewing, and it's not part of the page content, it's useless because Google doesn't see this data. I see some websites has this converter here that says, show me in English, show me in French, etc., etc. So, and it's not actual content. So this one I would recommend not to do because it's really not picked up by the search engine. Only pages that actually have the content in that language are actually being picked up.
Yeah, that's actually the way that my site actually works. Is it has that thing built in, and it's using the Google API to actually do the translate. So, but what I came to find out is I think there's some tools that they can actually get those data. I have because I do Google Ads, so I have these tools called Fraud Blocker. They weren't able to pull those information; they just keep dropping off. So they told me they can actually, but I just don't want it to decide just to remove the Spanish part of it.
One of the things you can do, by the way, you can just go here or to the pages. If it's a real page, we will see it here. So if you have SP, and it's
I think you guys
see,
I think you guys sees that. Yeah, I mean, I was just, for me to get a very accurate data, so it's better for me just to remove that version, because I just try to see so to have a consistency in terms of getting it. And my second question, because you mentioned if we have like a kind of a application or software that actually creates content, we can, because I do have one, so which is called Maki. So it does create content, and we'll post the content to whatever you want it to post. It can do auto post, and then pull all those information from the website and be able to post it. So I don't know
what's the name of that app?
It's called Maki. Let me put it in here. Let me put it.
Yeah, this is definitely where we would be focusing our activities, trying to get you here. So when the search is in the Gemini and everything, this is where we want to get you also. So this content, it needs to be slightly augmented. The schema needs to be enhanced. And this is definitely a focus area that we're doing now.
Okay.
Also the rankings themselves.
It's
So,
Maki.ai.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll be happy to. I mean, from our point of view, we haven't used this app, but we're more than happy to connect it to our application. The more value we bring to you to use and create content, the more it's better for everyone. So absolutely, we can take a look at that.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, I mean, the CEO of this company is actually is a very nice guy. So you guys can both actually got it from AppSumo. So I got it from AppSumo. So he came. He was on AppSumo when I think he came before you guys came in. It's pretty good, and he's been doing some amazing stuff.
Great.
I'm actually part of the beta, so they're coming out with some other added feature into it. So if you guys get connected, that'll be great.
Cool. Feel free to connect us, and that would be great.
All right, I'll get in touch with him. All right, thank you.
Okay. So I think that we kind of concluded, unless there's more questions. I think we kind of answered everything. Anyone else that still wants or needs some answers? Let's see. Michael, Yes.
Yeah, I'll just read the question because I know you're just about to log off. Just wanted to make sure you covered this. What are your thoughts on creating topical authority by exhaustively covering all aspects of a topic and related keywords with the topic? And what about Google penalizing websites that have added a lot of AI-generated content? How do you cover topical authority on a site then if Google is penalizing sites for generating too much AI content?
Yeah, so I think that what's nice about our system that it gives you kind of an X-ray of what's happening on your website. And I used this example before, and as to a section, and we can actually go here and see. So I said in my filter, show me all the pages that got SEO automation in them, which is a term that we're obviously trying to rank for. And you would immediately see if you have a problem. If you created spammy content, you would see most of these pages not indexed and most of these pages without impressions. So, of course, Michael, it's always not good to create spammy content. And if you write content that is AI level without any usefulness, of course, you have a problem. But, of course, I mean, this is known now to everyone. So you do need to create better content. But if you have created, let's say you have 1,000 pages, 10,000 pages of AI-generated content, you can very easily go here and say, either just show me all the pages without indexing, or show me all the pages in a certain topic. And by the way, part of our roadmap development is to provide the ability to look at the topic, your power in a certain topic, and how your content is ranking regarding this particular set of pages and topics. It can be thousands of pages. You want to see whether the content you created, whether it's based on a certain date or time, or whether it was based on a certain automation that you did, like in the case of Henry with the SEO generator. You want to see if that particular implementation is ranking or not ranking. So our system gives you the tools to monitor your performance and know if you have any issues. Of course, it's your responsibility not to create spammy or low quality content, but you will see it here very quickly based on the fact that it's not indexed or is indexed or etc.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I think we kind of covered everything. And I would like to thank everyone for joining us. We will have many more webinars coming up with a lot of announcements and functionality. And we really appreciate your loyalty. And feel free to reach out for whatever you need. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Wow.
Yes. Well.